It is live.
This
There you
episode
go.
of Women
We are
Versus
here,
Talk
y'all.
has been
We are
brought to you by All Caribbean Wrestling. Catch the wave. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1.
Maybe I heard that wrong because I was like, I thought she said when she hit live, click on the video. That's what I heard.
We're here, y'all. We are here, y'all. Thank you for hopping on the watch along with us. We're doing the post show for the McMahon documentary on Netflix. Shout out to Netflix. They have a lot of great content on there. I just watched another very quickly, the one about Love on the Run, Jailbreak. If you haven't watched it, you guys should definitely watch it. It's like it took place a couple years ago, and it talks about all the little nuances of the sheriff falls in love with the inmate. They go on the run for 12 days. It was a whole thing. So shout out to Netflix for that. But we're going to talk about Mr. Man episode number 4. So, honey, what do you think of episode number 4?
You learn a lot, especially when you rewatch things. Because I did glance at these episodes already, but really like diving deep and like discussing them with you guys. There's a few things that I did miss that I didn't really remember seeing the first time around. So, but it was definitely a good episode to say the least. It's very dramatic. This docuseries so far. We're pretty much gearing toward. We're in the middle of it, and we're gearing towards the end. So, I just can't wait for you guys to see the rest.
And Courtney, what do you think?
It's interesting watching it the first time around because when I first watched it, there were some things I did not even know. It was nice reminiscing back into the Attitude Era because, of course, there was many highs, many lows, many controversial things in between. And it's actually nice to rewatch it this time around again to look at it from a different perspective. But if you thought episode 4 was crazy, the last 2 episodes are going to be mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Councilman, what did you think?
Oh, Brett. Oh, Brett. That's man. But to Courtney and Honey's point, like it was a great trip down memory lane and like piecing some things. It's like, oh, that's when this happened. Oh, and that's when that happened. Still doesn't tell me a lot about Vince though. And I am starting to get like what he meant in like his message he put out before the documentary dropped. And one of the big prime targets about that is Vince different from the character of McMahon? It's like, to Honey's point, like, why didn't Linda answer that question? Why didn't Stephanie answer that question? You know what I'm saying? Like you deliberately cut it to where it's like all of these folks is like, yeah, like that's their boss.
Right.
So there's some level of personal degree that you're probably not going to know about, but somebody like Linda or somebody like Stephanie, I would have loved to hear their answer to that question. And we didn't get that.
So not yet.
Also, I guess the family one, Honey, do they talk to his grandchildren at all, or is it just the
it's just Shane. It's just Shane, Steph, and Linda. Mostly
See,
Steph.
That's the thing. His grandkids and maybe Stephanie and Shane didn't want them in. That's up for discussion. But his grandkids are old enough to formulate an opinion on their grandfather. So I'm curious as to what, because you hear the storyline where it's like your parents were really hard on you, and then you give them some grandbabies, and now they're like, wait, you this is not the same. You giving them candy, you take like this is not the same person. So I'm really curious as far as the grandkids, what their perception of Mr. McMahon is.
Yeah, like, I know one of them in college.
Yeah, one of them is in college. I think he made reference that he does want to continue on in the business, but let's see. Bosa's saying, I read an interview. I read an interview one of the directors did with Fightful Matson, and he was quoted as being frustrated with how Guardian Vince was. I think Netflix wanted to do 10 to 13 episodes.
Huh.
I mean, but
We surprised.
your product says different though. So it's like I see why Vince was difficult with you. Look what you put out.
Well,
And this is why I was
here's the
saying at
thing.
first I'm a little confused.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know what was on the cutting room table. And when you're formulating a documentary, you're taking everything, all the interviews, and you have to formulate a storyline with the interviews. So did Vince not give them enough information for them to actually show who he is? Meaning that he might have given, because we see little glimmers, right?
Yes.
Like off those little glimmers, you can't base an episode. Say what we see is what we see. There's nothing else on the cutting room floor, right? Off those little glimmers, you can't base an episode off of that, off of who Vince truly is.
But you also got the access to the rest of these other people though. So like what Vince won't answer, why don't you ask Linda that? Like, Linda, tell me what it was like for y'all both to get like your first $1 million. Like, how did that feel to y'all?
Here's the question, Will, right? I'm sure you just referenced, and I'm in the same boat as you. You just referenced that Will's not your real name, right? If we were to interview somebody who's really close to you, and we're like, tell us Will's real name, do you think that person's going to give up the information knowing that you cultivated your personality to be this?
Yes, but no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. But see, now you're acting like the Netflix director. You're asking it in a certain way in a category where you know that wouldn't happen. Now, ask me if my friends would tell you about a dope childhood memory they have of me. They would absolutely tell you that. So you it's
my friends. I've actually instructed all my friends not to say shit to anybody.
Well,
I don't care who you are.
Well, there you go.
Mind your damn business, she said.
Yeah. But there's saying, like I've literally had those conversations where it's like, look, like even upon me leaving this earth, those stories are never to be told. It's not even bad stories. I'm just very particular.
One of your friends is gonna tell a story you are not in particular about. You'd be like, okay, I didn't mind that they told that story. It's not gonna be nothing that makes you look bad or anything like that. But it's like, yo,
they're actually instructed not to say anything. If you go up to my friend, my longest friend, and you start asking her questions, like on a like not even on a serious note, but like if you come to me and like my friends don't have that like thing about, but they're also not in the position that I'm in. If you come to me and you ask me, forget that. If you go to my mom and ask her a question, she's gonna look at you like regardless of what the question is. I think maybe because we're just family wise, we're very much a private family. But that same goes with my inner circle.
So you're saying I couldn't? So you saying your friends wouldn't give me your favorite color? You saying I couldn't figure that out from
they wouldn't give you anything.
I'll put money on that. I could do that.
I will put money on it too, and you'll be giving me money. They will not give you anything because they're gonna be like, first off, who are you?
Put money if you're around.
I've never heard of you before. Why are you asking for like?
Don't go tell them that either. Don't be like, yo, this is the dude that said he can get y'all to crack. Don't make it impossible for me. Don't make it impossible. I'm telling you, and then beyond all this, I'm telling you, like them, if you ask them any question, they'll look at you like, who are you? Like, well, besides having it vaulted, like you have this big government secret somehow. Opposed to that, to what's already information out there, I could see them going ask someone something else. as far as to
Right.
like maybe piece together some of these things, even to the point of where it's like, yo, you're not giving away any information. It just aligns with what's trying to be asked. But
Right.
instead,
But
looking
I
at how
think
they
maybe,
shaped this, it don't seem that way.
yeah, I think maybe even if they did ask Litton, because now we have to think that Vince has been vincing for so long, right? That because he's this character and Linda really knows the Vince, but he showed us this. Maybe she doesn't want to be the one to show us that if Vince himself is not giving us who he really is, then I'm pretty sure that his wife of umpteenth years knows that that's not, regardless if you're doing this Netflix documentary. And with that even being said, I'm curious as to why Vince wanted to do this deck, because what they could have done is not necessarily ask him questions, but did a whole, because they do this sometimes too, where they interview people back to back and they do a collage of this person's, the great things that they've done. He could have did that in one episode, and let's say the allegations and all that stuff didn't happen, right? Did that in one episode, he would have got the Hall of Fame, speech, credited, stroked his ego, credited with bringing WWE, all this other stuff, and called it a day. But for you to knowingly know that you're not going to give up the information about yourself, like, why even put the people in that position?
Well, but again,
That whole
you're based,
family's motto is "Don't sell." I bet.
Yeah.
yeah. But you're also basing on if that's the intention that he went to. So now let's look at the other side. Who's not to say the questions that they asking him make him feel uncomfortable? Who's to say like,
True.
yo, we said we're gonna ask you this, but now we're gonna ask you stuff like this, and the fact of maybe they started hounding him about stuff too, and it's like, yo, I don't want to talk about that.
You gotta see.
So it's so
gotta
it's
keep
both
pressing
sides to
forward.
it. Yeah,
You gotta
it's both
finish
sides
it,
to it.
and then it's mostly like we could dissect each episode if we want to, but to dissect it as a whole, because you have to get through the process of how Vince goes through these interviews and what transpires by the end. So,
So is
wait till
it
y'all get
episode 6 that he's like, I'm done, like, because of everything, or is it the next episode where he stops?
it's I want to say, well, that was the 4th episode. We have the 5th and 6th. It's pretty much around, like they mentioned it, like towards the end of the 5th into the 6th,
Mhm.
and then you really see what transpires.
Okay.
But it was it's interesting to say the least.
Any thoughts, any other wrap-up thoughts? Because my East Coasters, I can see y'all fading, so I definitely want to let y'all get to bed. Any other
Yeah,
thoughts?
sleepy.
Any other thoughts as far as episode 4 that you guys want to share?
Brett, you'll always be my goat. I don't care what nobody says.
Well,
Honey learned a
there
lot
it
of
is.
things about Brett today.
There. I guess that's the wrap up. We're gonna be doing episode 5 tomorrow. It's gonna be talking about family. But,
I might not be able to do that. I'm gonna be back out in these streets.
oh
I gotta be somewhere at 7.
wait, aren't you doing NXT?
Well, NXT ends at 7.
Oh, okay. Well, so are you saying that you want us to wait for you, or are you saying that you won't be there? I'm not.
I mean, I was
Sure.
just throwing it out there. I wouldn't like. I'm gonna leave that to y'all because y'all are adults who pay rent. So I'm not finna tell y'all wait for me on some stuff like that. Like, especially if y'all want to continue. I'm just
Gotcha.
throwing that out there about the
Okay.
availability.
And are you
Well,
going to go back out to the same said streets, or is this a different street?
No, I'm going to the TK streets. I got to go to a networking event. And I don't plan on being there that long. No.
That is definitely my MO too. So
Exactly. That's why I said TK event.
I might have some things to do in the honey pot, so I'm trying to make it to Tuesday Night Pharaoh, but I would definitely be down for a watch along though.
okay.
Okay.
So okay. Do you need to hit the streets too, Courtney? You have streets that you.
I pretty much need a break for tomorrow because I just want to give myself time to, because
All
I
right,
still
so
keep that open. So
here we are. So it looks like everybody's going out to the streets, and we'll revisit episode 5 on
Not
Wednesday.
me. I'm working in the
Well,
hive.
he's going to the honey pot. I mean, she is.
She's in the hive streets. She's in the streets of the hive.
The busy bee streets.
Yeah, that's where
Very-
she's at. You know.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna take and I think that's actually a really good organic thing. We need to take a break, ingest everything, collect our thoughts for the last 2 episodes. So we're gonna come back on Wednesday for episode 5. But with that being said, let's get our East Coasters to bed. Courtney, where can everybody find you?
they can always find me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They can find me here every Monday. They can find me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Wednesdays, it's all elite Wednesdays. This Wednesday, Dynamite will be celebrating 5 years in Pittsburgh. So that's going to be a fun one. And also, I'll be sharing my favorite moments from Dynamite. So make sure to not miss that. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram on @CourtneyNJ11 because I got some good stuff happening in the upcoming weeks that I will be posting soon.
All right, and we'll get that outro ready because my Wi-Fi is not Wi-Fi. And honey, where could everybody find you?
You can find me usually on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here with the WWT Live Crew. But after this, you won't have to find me anywhere because I'm gonna be deep in my pillow tonight. Other than that, you can. Other than that, you can find me here went on Friday, every Friday for SmackDown, Honey Night SmackDown, and yeah, I'm so exhausted, guys. Raw was a lot, and I'm tired. Wrestling with Honey TikTok, Wrestling with Honey Instagram, Facebook, Wrestling W Honey, and please tell your friends about the new sweetest podcast around, coming soon on YouTube, the Wrestling with Honey podcast.
All right. Speaking of deep in the pillows, Will, Councilman, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Wendy Posturepedics. I will be laying in soon because I am also very tired. Pounding the streets is not all that it's cracked up to be.
Wow. Oh, Dylan, if you watch this, please cut that part out.
Oh my god. All I know is I forgot how much your feet can hurt when you just up. Just like, yeah, I want to go home.
Are you home already?
Maybe. I don't know.
What is going?
I don't know what's going on. We'll wrap this up because.
Yes,
right.
But you can always find me here at WWT Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're gonna So I just want to go to bed.
All right, y'all. You can find me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. Episode 5, we're going to be doing it on Wednesday. So we're skipping a day. So if you guys haven't watched all the episodes, catch up with the episodes with us. And then come together on Wednesday so we can watch episode 5. With that being said, you can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Make sure you check out Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao, y'all.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.